You know, I went from being the auto-tune guy to being the goofy guy now. Because people come up to me and they go, "Are you a goofy guy?" Like that's what they don't even know my name anymore.
You can go.
So like, you know, I have these shows in Brazil that are coming up and I'm kind of preparing a little bit and I've been working on my Portuguese again and I've been speaking Portuguese with my mom and like my mom is a totalmente diferente pessoa em português, muito carinhosa, like very nice and sweet, but in English she's like very cold and like, you know what I mean? I don't know, maybe it's just the English language, but maybe the Portuguese language is just like a little bit more warmer and filled with like, you know, joy and love and stuff like that, you know? So it's been interesting to speak to her that way, you know?
And she liked that show. She said it was the best one?
Yeah, she saw me in New York in February and she said it was like one of the best days of her life. Yeah, I brought her on stage and we got her the nice black car. She drove up, she was looking like a CEO, looking great, and you know, it was wonderful to be able to show her that, you know, because she came to America with like a suitcase, and so yeah, it was nice.
Did you make her interact with the show?
No. She told me she doesn't. She didn't even want to come on stage, to be honest with you, until my manager, I think it was Matt or Kat, like tapped her on the shoulder and was like, "You're coming with us." She was like, "What? Where am I going?" And then we brought her on stage. Yeah, there's a clip of it on TikTok or on YouTube. You could find it. There's a whole like vlog about it. So, yeah.
And how was last night's show here in Lisbon?
I have to admit, last night's show foi muito melhor do que daquele outro. It was like a lot better than the other one. This was the rescheduled show because there was a huge power outage in Portugal, and I was honestly surprised because it was like, you know, 11 p.m. on a Sunday. But the crowd was with it. We got a standing ovation, and it was lovely. It was great.
And your stand-up material involves a great deal of improvisation, and you just need to react on whatever the crowd says to you.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel scared that you won't be able to have a joke ready in the moment?
No, I'm not anymore. I used to feel scared I wouldn't have something, but now if I don't have anything, I just start singing. I'm like, you know, it doesn't, you know. I will say the auto-tune and the singing is like a great kind of out. I mean, sometimes I speak to somebody in the crowd and they're not really giving me anything. The Dutch crowds were like that. That was probably one of the worst audiences I've ever had, is in the Netherlands. I have no problem saying that. Y'all need to loosen the fuck up, all right? I'll tell you right now. I'm coming back because I like it there. I'm coming back.
They got the message.
Yeah.
So your act revolves around the crowd, sort of like it's a lot of it's.
Some of it, yeah.
How do you go about handling a tough crowd, like you were saying?
Yeah, so handling a tough crowd is, there's two ways to go about it. You can like really dive deeper and try harder to find more people, or you could just kind of take a step back and just do your material. Because I mean, I have, you know, 3+ hours of music that I think most people don't even know that I have. Because the majority, I think 90% of the fans I have now, I got in the last 2 years. And so they have no idea that I have like, you know, 30 songs that I've sang. And I could just put those into the show, no problem. And I just do the show and that's it, you know. I think some audiences, they come to have fun and some audiences come to like have like a combative energy, and that's okay too, you know. But I'm never going to be, well, I guess I just did like say like fuck this audience, didn't I?
Sort of, yes.
Sort of. No, I mean, I don't take it personal, you know. Yeah, you just do your material and just keep moving. You know, every show is going to be a little different. I did 4 shows in Amsterdam, right? And they were all different. I've done 2 shows here in Portugal. The first one was like, I remember we left that show and we were like, I don't know, the crowd didn't seem like they were into it, you know. But then you'll get a message later that's like, oh, we loved it. We had the best time. So I don't know, you just do your material.
Yeah, some people aren't extroverts, and they won't show you that, I guess.
Yeah.
And I feel like every community has its own sense of humor, whether it's based on like culture and everyday living. And you're an American comedian touring around the world. How do you feel your comedy has resonated in different countries and communities?
I think my comedy resonates pretty well across the world. I think because the subject matter that I'm sticking to is it's about love and sex and dating and relationships, and I mean, they do that over here in Portugal too, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I think it was, and everybody likes to sing, you know. So I think it's not a problem, Now it's just like adjusting certain songs or things, right? Like I have a song called, Suspicious as Fuck, right? So for that song, like in Brazil, I'll probably go suspeito pra caralho, right? And I'll change it up and they'll sing that, And you just change little things like that to kind of make it specific to where you are,
Did you feel anything specific with the Portuguese crowd, or?
No, because I consider the Portuguese crowd like more of a European crowd too. I mean, when the first time I was here, about a month ago, there were people from Germany and France and like Poland, Turkey, obviously Portugal. So people in this part of the world, they'll travel all over to see me if they can't get tickets because it's like an hour, 2-hour flight. Where in America, if you take an hour-long flight in California, you're still in California, So it's just a little bit different,
Yeah, people here are more mobile in that sense.
More mobile. Everybody here speaks like 3 or 4 languages. It's like a whole different vibe,
It's different from America, that's for
Way
sure.
different,
And
America's really cool right now, isn't it?
Well, a bit
It's super
scary,
cool,
isn't
right?
it?
It's exciting, isn't it? We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We're all freaked out. We're all scared. Sorry, I'm joking.
But are you genuinely scared for your art to be somewhat
censored or
changed by
something?
that? Yeah.
Am I scared? Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, my art, my show's never been, political or religious or based on race or anything like that. I just try to keep it on like a lowest common denominator of subject matter that people can all relate to. So I'm not scared, but sometimes I wonder if I should like branch out and be a little bit more provocative or edgy. You know what I mean? But then again, I don't really like to alienate people at the show.
Is it for alienating people, or is it like personal repercussions that you're scared about?
That's a good question. It's a little bit of both, right? Because when I first started, I don't want to get into too much detail about the story, but I have somebody close to me who's sick, right? And they came to a show, and then one of the other comedians on the show made a joke about them. They were commenting on something that was due to their illness, like the way they were acting was due to their illness, and you know what I mean. So when I'm doing a show, like I think about that and the people in the crowd, like how they're gonna feel for the most part, And as far as like, am I afraid of repercussions? I don't know yet. I mean, the thing is, the internet is so democratized now that, I mean, I sell all my tickets based off of TikTok and Instagram. So it's like the people who are going to buy my tickets are going to buy my tickets regardless of whether it's like something shows up in a news story or not. You know what I mean? They're a fan of me. They're a fan of me, I think, I think back in the day, it'd be different if like 10 or 20 years ago, you did a TV show like SNL and then they ripped up a photo of the Pope, right? I don't know if anybody knows what I'm referencing, but there's this, Sinead O'Connor, she ripped up the thing of the Pope, right? And then I think, her ticket sales kind of plummeted, or like somebody like, a good example, like Nina Simone. Nina Simone, a long time ago, when she transitioned a lot of her music into the civil rights movement, she lost like a tremendous amount of ticket sales and things like that. However, I think now, people they want to be on the right side of history, and so I don't know. Either way, you're gonna move forward no matter what. So
yeah, and at the end of the day, you just want to make people laugh.
I mean, listen, for me, like what I think about is the person in America or anywhere in the world who just worked like an 80-hour week. They worked one job, left, did a second job, and then they go to. Imagine they come home and they put on my comedy special, and all my whole shit is about politics, and I'd rather just make it about fucking and having sex or something like that. That's like a much nicer thing to laugh about than That's what I'm thinking about.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And I would describe you as a creative multitasker. You act, you sing, you do stand up. How do you balance these creative sides of you?
Yeah, balancing is hard. I think you kind of just focus on one thing for a little while and then move to it. It's kind of like moving from project to project, right? So right now I've auditioned for a couple of projects, and let's say in the future I get cast in a movie or a TV show that's going to require 6 months to a year of my time. Then that's what we focus on, and then once I come out of that, we'll get to touring again, or once we're done with touring, we'll move into like online and social media stuff, or maybe once we do all that stuff, I'll take a break for a year and just like do nothing, and who knows, paint or play with Legos. I don't know what I'll do, something like that, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Do you ever get bored of like acting, let's say, and then you just start doing more stand-up, I guess?
You know, I haven't had the opportunity to do a lot of acting, but you know, I find like people who are only boring people get bored. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
Only boring people get bored. Like I can be alone in a room all day and figure out stuff to do with myself. You know what I mean? I don't. Even if I was acting on set, I don't think I would get bored. I'd find something else to do. You know, even with the stand-up and the comedy and the music, if I need to make it exciting for myself, so I'll always try to do something a little bit different in the show. You know.
Yeah, within your script, you try
Yeah,
to
we
find
adjust
little
it. You know.
changes.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my show is improvised, but I have a format and there's a structure to it. So no matter what show I'm in, I can plug and play different people into the show, you know?
Whenever you do a show and people are laughing, they're applauding and everything, at the end, can you clock those moments, or can you register when a joke was better than the other one, or everything just went so fast with the adrenaline and you don't really understand?
We can 100% register like what's good and what's not. I mean, Masi, who's over there to the left of me, you know, he's at every show and he's filming. We after every show, we kind of quickly like think about the whole show start to finish, and we pick the moments that we thought were the best of the show, and then those are the moments that will end up online. And even at that point, once we have the moments that are laid out, we might, so then we'll trim it down even more to be like, okay, maybe that wasn't as good as we thought it was, and we can go look back on it later, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and as we were saying, you put your content a lot on social media, and social media has played a big part for you, especially with your videos going viral on TikTok and Instagram. How do you think social media is shaping today's comedy's landscape, and how do you think comedians can use it to their own advantage?
I think social media is shaping the landscape, honestly, for the better. There are a lot of negative things that come with it, but it is giving a voice to a lot of really funny people who may not have had that voice earlier. I do think there is a huge responsibility on somebody like me who performs live, right? Because when you think about financially how people are struggling and they don't have a lot of money, if you have, let's say you have $1,000 the whole year to spend on concert tickets, right? You could see a musical artist, a comedian, and then maybe somebody else, I don't know, right? Or you go to the movies, right? They have to be really selective on what they see. So let's say somebody, and my audience is very young, so let's say they buy a ticket to see me. I might be their first live comedy show. So if that show isn't the best show that I can put on, they may never come to a live comedy show again. And that's kind of the pressure now, because it's like, are these, you know, I've been doing this like 18 years, so I did this way before TikTok was a thing, so I do have a performance background. But, you know, are they getting their money's worth? And if they're not, why would they even spend money on another show when they can stay home and watch Netflix or, you know, scroll on TikTok for 2 hours for free? And you know what I mean? So, for the other entertainers online who have a lot of success or large followings, you know, obviously I want them to put on a show just as good as I do. You know, I want the show to be better than what you see on TikTok. And that's the pressure of it, because if they go see a bad show, they may never want to see a show again, you know?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you're trying to pull people into live comedy. That's the goal.
You want to put a show on that's so good that when you come back the next year, that they'll bring like 5 more friends. And that's what you want, you know?
And it is, is it easy to translate your comedy from social media to live and vice versa?
Yeah, I think for me, it is easy to do it. It's not as easy for everybody else, because I'm not doing joke.
Yeah.
Piada. Right? So it's because I do music, people want to see the song that they like, right? Like, do you have an artist that you love? Like, who's your?
I love Beyonce.
You love
She's my
Beyonce, right?
artist.
Imagine you went and you listened to Beyonce's album all year, and then you went to the show, and the show was nothing like the album that you listened to, or she didn't play the song that you love.
That's
Wouldn't you
quite
be upset?
frustrating, yeah.
It'd be criminal,
Very upset.
diabolical. You'd hate it. You'd never want to go back. How could she? So imagine I did a show and I don't do the LOL song, I don't do the suspicious as fuck song, and you don't see the clips you see online. You know, I even make a joke in my show that's like, oh, it's just like the TikTok, right? You could see the screen, and then people love that because it is what it is. That's what they want to see, you know. And then I'll put stuff in that I know that they've never seen before, you know.
That's quite interesting because I love stand-up comedy, and when I go and see it, I don't want to see the same jokes again. I want to be surprised. But with music, it's quite different.
It's 100% different. You want to hear the hits, and sometimes you want to see the new stuff too, you know.
So in a way, you're sort of a hybrid.
Hybrid,
a
yeah,
musician, comedian.
Yeah, because in my show, I do stand-up. I'll do like 10 to 15 minutes of stand-up, and I'll be able to do those jokes for like a year or two, and then let's say when I come back to Portugal next year or the year after that, I'm gonna have to write some new jokes. But some of the songs can stay the same, you know. Yeah. So yeah.
And how did the idea of performing with autotune come about?
The autotune was a direct result of the pandemic. I was performing for corporate events on Zoom from my bedroom.
It's a bit tough.
Yeah, and so, you know, one of the things I learned was that when you're performing, you need to adjust your performance for the size of the room. So, you know, for example, the venue last night was 500 people, and the venue tomorrow is about 2,400 people. So because of that, tomorrow my energy needs to be bigger, my movements need to be bigger. So with the auto-tune, I was on Zoom, so I had to find a way to engage the audience in a different way, and I just put that little plug in, and it was actually easier to do crowd work because you could pin somebody.
Really?
So everybody could see the one person, you know? And the LOL song came as a result of that too, because people obviously weren't laughing. They have their cameras off, they have their microphones off. So I would say, hey, if you're enjoying the show, type LOL. If you're really enjoying, type ha ha ha, LMFAO, or ja ja ja. And then we just turn it into a live part.
It's quite brave to try to make people laugh through Zoom, I guess.
Is it brave?
I'd say so.
I think there's braver people than me.
No, I mean, yeah, but...
I don't know if I'm the poster child for courage, you know?
But speaking to an empty screen...
Are you two gonna fuck tonight? Yeah, that takes a lot of courage. No, I mean, it is, there was nothing else I could do.
Yeah.
Where else could we perform, right? So, that's just what it was, man. We just did it on Zoom. Like, what else are you gonna do? Nobody wanted to be there.
Was it soul sucking, or?
No, I mean, I made a lot of money. I don't know. A lot of people said no, but I did pretty good. So, it was just funny. There were so many funny moments. Like, I remember I did a show, and a woman in the Zoom was leasing a car in the middle of it. So she was like on the Zoom call and like negotiating a deal. So I told her, let me talk to the guy. Let me get you a good deal, you know?
Did you manage? Did you manage to get a good deal?
No, it ended up being more expensive, so. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I mean, like, during that time, nobody wanted to be there. I didn't want to be there. The people there didn't want to be there. There was no need for these meetings or these like forced hangs on Zoom. You have people who just had babies. They're like taking care of a dog. Your baby's shitting in the background, and they got to be on a Zoom call for their company. While some guy's like, "What's your name, bro?" You know, like, listen, I understand what was going on. You know what? You're right. It does take a lot of courage to do what I did.
It does. I think so.
You're 100% right. Mm-hmm. I'm a hero.
Just own it. You should just own it.
Watch they cut it up. It's completely out of context. Like, do you think it takes a lot of courage? I'm a hero. That's all you see.
A pandemic hero. And going back to the autotune, do you enjoy being the autotune guy, or do you think that sort of limits you? You
know, I went from being the auto-tune guy to being the goofy guy now. because people come up to me and they go, "Are you a goofy guy?" Like that's what they don't even know my name anymore. They just say if I'm a goofy guy. I don't mind it. Listen, if to be recognized at all is a blessing, and if it's for auto-tune and singing, like that's fine, you know. All I know is that the auto-tune is just the gateway to the bigger show, and when you see the whole show, you really understand like the depth and the breadth of what I can bring to a full hour to an hour and a half of comedy, you know.
But are you gonna abandon it at some point? Or
No, I'll never abandon it. No,
Yeah.
I can't abandon the thing that made me.
Fair
you know?
enough.
So
And just to finish it off, how would you describe yourself off stage?
off stage, I would describe myself as a hero again.
Perfect.
No. Off stage, I would describe myself as a pretty chill. I think a pretty chill guy. You know, I like to play video games. It's what I do literally, if you want to know what I'm doing backstage, right now on this tour, I play Baldur's Gate. Are you familiar with that game? No. It's like a Dungeons and Dragons game that you can play on the computer. That's what I've been playing. You know, we got footage. We got plenty of footage of it. It's like goblins and orcs and trolls and shit like that. So, you know, that's what I've been doing off stage. But yeah, that's basically. I'm just a chill guy. I like, you know.
Do you like to make people laugh?
Oh,
or
yeah.
you get a bit tired of it and you're more introvert?
I think it's a mix of both. I think some days my social battery is running low, but some days, you know, my energy's up, and you know, if you come up to me and ask for a photo, like be careful, like I might be weirder than you. You know what I mean? Be like, you want to take a photo with me? I'm gonna take a photo with you. Give me your phone. All right, remember I took your phone? I like literally took it, right? I didn't even give him an option. Let me send her a video. You know, so.
Cool. Perfect.
Was it perfect?
Yeah.
Was it perfect?
A hero.
Hero. Thank you.